Okay, here's a little update on the bicycle kit. I have never in my life seen a plastic model kit that didn't have at least one mistake in the instructions. I mean, just hasn't happened. And there's a couple of little ones in here. The instructions they give you are pretty basic, and a lot of the parts are left out, and you have to figure it out on your own. But they do give you a guide of the sprues to tell you where everything is. And so far, the only little mistake I found in this one has to do with the cross pieces that you have to glue into the frame. Now, so far, this frame is the only thing that I've glued together. Everything else is still dry, in the dry fit stage. And I must have dry fit this about 15 times before I figured everything out. But in the instructions, they want you to put piece C14 up here, this crossbar. And they don't even mention this crossbar down here, but there is another one in there which is labeled C8. And C8 is mentioned nowhere on the instruction sheet. But if it was, it would probably be to tell you that they have it backwards. And C14 should go down here and C8 should go up here. And it's pretty easy to figure that out though, because C14 has the hole, which will later, when we get that far, it'll accept that little location pin on the fender. So when it goes together, that pin will fit right in that hole right there. Now if I'd put it together per the instructions and had 14 up here, I don't think it would have worked too good if I'd have put it up that. But anyway, it's a pretty straightforward build, and I've decided that I'm not going to get fancy. I'm not going to try and do lights or anything. I'm just going to make a really nice looking detailed static piece that will look good hanging on the Hetzer, or maybe on the back of the 250 hat track, or just off to the side in photographs, you know, with a good figure. Now, like I said, these are not glued yet. The wheels and stuff are just dry fit together. And it's interesting that they give you 4 halves for the wheels, and all 4 of the halves have the air filler neck on there. So I don't think they would have had 2 on each tire, so I'll have to remove one later. I have assembled and painted the Panzerfaust for this, and now this one I have the pin in, and I like these a lot. They're pretty cool. You can pull the pin, raise the sight, and press the trigger. That's pretty neat for just a little model. And eventually I'll have to probably super glue those pins in place, otherwise they'll get lost in a heartbeat. And you can remove the projectile from the launch tube on both of them. I have yet to apply the decals. That's what these two are waiting for right now, is the application of decals. And then I also have, this is a stock Panzerfaust that came with one of the figures, so it was ready to go out of the box, and it's already got the decals applied. And again, you can remove the projectile from the launch tube. But on this one, the firing mechanism and sighting mechanism are one-piece molded plastic, and they're not separate metal pieces, so they don't move or anything like that. But it does have the decals all applied, which is cool, because if there was any confusion, it'd make for a good guide as to where to put everything on the new ones. And that's all we have to do with these yet, is put the decals on, and they'll be ready to go. I don't think we're going to do much weathering on those. They would have been pretty quick out of the crate. I don't think a Panzerfaust laid around for very long before it got used. But that's where we're at right now. The frame's together. We're getting it. Oh, the closest I can come for color on this, what they're calling for, is something. They want a khaki green, okay? But the closest I've been able to find is RLM 71, which is what I'm probably going to use. They give the 1710 khaki green in the Model Master color, excuse me. But if I look on the cross-reference charts, that's pretty much RLM 71, which is the Luftwaffe color. And I've got plenty of it, so that's what I'm going to use. The whole thing will get painted RLM 71, except of course for the Panzerfaust, which are already Dunkelgelb. I've also picked up selected some stowage for this one, and we've got it right up here. Okay, you can see I've got a few things laid out here that I'll be able to use for stowage on the rack. Now the rack is right here, and it sits on the bicycle, right there. But I've got, you know, most of the stuff that's on the box I've got a pack. I can put some tissue paper, something like that, to fill it out if I want to. We've got the mess kit, the gas mask canister. I got a couple of canteens. Even these value gear pieces, I mean, that could easily be, you know, like a rolled up raincoat or something, you know. So stowage shouldn't be a problem. And then I've got some pistols that I'm thinking about adding. I'm thinking about hanging a Luger on the frame of the bicycle. Right about here. I'm thinking about hanging a Luger in a modified holster right there. Because I look at this and I say to myself, okay, if I was a grunt scrub infantryman in the Wehrmacht in 1943 or 42 or 44 or whatever, and they gave me one of these bicycles, I'd probably try to outfit it to my personal style. And I think I'd want a handgun real close to hand. So we'll take a little license like that. All right, so we'll give further updates later, and we'll see you next time.